So my doctor told me everything was normal. This was 2 years ago when I was plant-based. I was plant-based for 8 years and I would always get blood work done. But this time I wanted to get another blood work done because I was not feeling good. And when my doctor told me everything was normal, I was confused because I didn't feel normal. I didn't feel good. Normal blood work doesn't explain everything, you guys. Believe it or not, I do think that just because the blood work says you're amazing and you're at optimal levels and your doctor's telling you that you are an athlete, you basically look like you're an athlete and the results show that, and you still don't feel good, there's something up. There's something that is not being told in the blood results. And it's not to say you should ignore the blood results. They're just as important, but I do think how you feel is even a little bit more important because, you don't want to live your life not feeling good even when the results say otherwise. There's something missing. Something is happening in your body if you're not feeling good and the blood tests say something else. At least that was the case for me. I had symptoms of brain fatigue. I had a loss of memory. I didn't remember what happened the last hour. I would forget things constantly. I was inefficient at my job at the time. My coworkers and bosses told me that I easily get sick and that I was really forgetful. I had bloating, nonstop bloating. I felt tired. I felt lethargic. I felt cranky and moody and anxious, and I didn't sleep well. And I was confused. I was confused too because I would get sick every 2 months. And at that point, I didn't eat plant-based anymore. I started to eat meat again, but I was eating a lot of sugar, a lot of sugars. I didn't stop the smoothies. I didn't stop the rice and the potatoes. I still ate those, but I was also eating a lot of meat. So I had high carbs, high fat at the same time. That was a diet I was doing at one point after the plant-based ended. But when I did the blood results, it was during the last year of my plant-based year. And I was at my wit's end. I was like, why do I feel not well? I don't understand. I mean, my gut, I knew a little bit about the gut. I knew probiotics were very good for you, fermented foods like sauerkraut. I was studying some stuff about that, but I took the probiotics, I took the fermented food, I did the kombucha, and I didn't feel good. I was like, well, what gives? Like, this is not helping me. And I was listening to doctors who were plant-based, who were talking about gut health and doing kombucha and sauerkraut and fermented foods. And I was like, what? This is not helping me. And my blood results are saying otherwise. I don't feel well. And so luckily I had a health coach who was also himself vegan for 10 years. And when I told him about my problem, I was like, I have all these symptoms in my body and I don't want to not be plant-based, but I don't know what to do. I don't know what to eat. And I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or if this is genetics. And, my doctor said the blood results are great. I was low on heme iron, but besides that, everything else was great. But I don't feel well, and I even told him, I just feel really bloated. And he said, well, I think you have gut issues. I think you need to consider eating meat. And I'm like, what? I like eating meat. He's like, yeah, you may feel a lot better eating a piece of meat because right now your body can't absorb the nutrients from plants. Now I'm paraphrasing him, but he basically mentioned bioavailability. And bioavailability in plants, in veggies, and nuts are nothing compared to meat, apparently. And so I was like, okay, let me try a piece of steak. And I was convinced by him because he sent me all the resources and he himself is now eating meat. And so I was like, okay, let me try it. Let me try a piece of steak. And if I don't like it, I'll go back to being plant-based. But let me tell you, when I ate that piece of steak, I took one bite and I felt so energized. The tiredness, the forgetfulness went away within an hour, you guys. After I ate that piece of meat, I was like ready to go out and about. I was like, I feel satiated. And then after 3 hours, 4 hours, I felt good. I didn't feel hungry like I was when I was plant-based. My bloating went down a bit. I could think faster now. And that was only one, I like to call it one session of eating meat. I was eating just that steak and I felt a whole lot better because, guys, I didn't realize that the bioavailability, which means that absorbing nutrients from a certain source of food, is dependent on what source of food you eat. You know, meat has more nutrients, and so does plants, but, well, meat has a lot more nutrients in a piece of 8 ounces of meat compared to 8 ounces of kale. You would have to eat a lot of kale in order to get enough of the nutrients, but even yet, the bioavailability of plants compared to meat is drastically different. Like, the bioavailability of an 8 ounce piece of steak is much more nutritious because your body's able to absorb the nutrients from this piece of meat easily and take it to the right places, while the kale and the spinach, you would have to eat a lot of it to get enough of the nutrients, and the nutrients in itself are not bioavailable, meaning your body's not able to absorb and utilize those nutrients throughout the body, and take it to the right places compared to meat. So plants require more volume to have the same amount of nutrients in a piece of 8 ounces of meat, and it's not as bioavailable still compared to the 8 ounces of meat. So this was a huge, huge revelation for me, especially after eating that piece of steak. I saw it already, the results in my body. So the blood results were not lying, you guys. When I was plant-based, I looked healthy on paper because the nutrients were just floating around in my bloodstream. They weren't being utilized by my body. Okay? So that's basically what had happened to me in my last year of being plant-based versus to now eating meat. I just feel a whole lot better eating meat. All the symptoms went away in my body: the lethargy, the tiredness, foggy brain, bloatedness. I just feel great overall. I'm not in pain. I'm not in the struggle bus of getting rid of my IBS and leaky gut. I feel a whole lot better, and I want that for you. And it's why I created this free video guide about the 7 mistakes that you are committing to not heal your gut. I placed it down below in the description box, and I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.